So, listen, I hate to derail this conversation, but we definitely are going to get back to it later on. Joining us on the phone right now, I believe he's on. I believe we have the shining star Rey Calitri, who's a featured performer for ECWA, and he's going to be part of Night of Unusual Matches this Saturday in Morganville, New Jersey. There he is, and he's got his legacy title. What's going on, Poppy? How you doing, homie? What's going on? Look at you.
What's going on? What's going on, Brady? How you doing?
Looking good. Feel? I feel good. I feel bloated, man. I can't wait to get back to the gym.
What are you waiting for? Gym's been open already for 4 months.
Yeah, I know, but I hate wearing a mask when I work out.
Oh, God. You're one of those guys.
Yeah, I can't do it. I need to do it, but I can't. Oh, man, but you look great, man. It looks like you've really been taking your preparation seriously. I see you're traveling all over the world. You're going to Mexico, Puerto Rico, obviously all around the U.S., taking that title with you. What's the experience?
Don't forget Colombia. Don't forget Colombia.
Colombia.
Yep.
Oh, man. I've always wanted to go to Colombia, but I'm terrified.
Next time I go, I'll take you with me.
Really?
Sure.
You're not going to leave me there, are you? It's not going to be like an episode of Locked Up Abroad.
No. Why would I do that? No.
He'll be like, "Yeah, I needed to carry this in my suitcase."
No.
Please leave him there, right? Leave him there, right?
But you're really getting around lately. What's first of all, what's led to all that?
So the thing is with me, I legit want to stand out from every other wrestler, right? I know
Yeah.
all the wrestlers say it, but I actually legit want to do it, right? So now you start seeing me wearing the suits, a little different. So now I go from the Shining Star when I first started 2 years ago, which was the Shining Star Mr. Puerto Rico, right? To it leads to me breaking my ankle. Then that leads to what you see today. Because, anytime a wrestler gets hurt, you always try to like reinvent yourself, whether it's a new gear, new entrance music, new promo. Like you have to do something different so that when you come back, people are like, "Oh man, wow, right, cool." So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up changing my whole persona, my whole everything, because I was like, why not me, right? Like why can't we see a Hispanic wearing a suit? Why can't we see a Hispanic driving a nice car? Why can't we see Hispanic around a bunch of beautiful women, right? Like, so that's the way I thought about it. So I was like, and I'm a huge Gino Hernandez fan and Nick Bockwinkel and Ric Flair. And you see some of those notions in me, like when I'm doing my promos and when I'm talking and, when you see me at shows and stuff. But then again, it goes back to the question you're saying, like what led to that? Like, I know a lot of guys that they're like, "Oh, I want to change. I want to do this. I want to do that," but they never do it. Right. So I was like, you know what? Let me take the chance. Let me just run with it. Right. So for Colombia, out of nowhere, I win this, what you see, right? On my birthday, right? And then
yeah.
And then I couldn't travel because of the holidays, right? So I'm like, yo, why not just go to Colombia to celebrate the New Year, right? So even though I'm there to celebrate the New Year, I'm still doing promos. I'm still doing media appearances. I'm still networking. I'm still meeting people. The same thing with Mexico. Mexico just came out of nowhere. And I legit found out on a Tuesday, and I was on an airplane on Friday, just ready to go. And another thing for me is, again, goes back to what we're saying. A lot of people want to do changes. They don't do it, right? And then a lot of people want to chase being trending, right? I'm trying to chase history. I want to be in the history books. I want to, like, when you look up certain things online or whatever the case is, I want my name, the Shining Star Rey Calitri to pop up. I don't want my little 15 seconds of fame. I look at it longevity in the long run, if that makes sense.
No, sure. Now, for example, today you put up this promo and you're in a bar. You got all these beautiful ladies. You're all dressed up, all suave and everything. Suave or suave? It's suave, right? No, but like, how much of it is like, because it seemed like at first you almost wanted to like fake it till you make it, if that makes any sense. But it feels like lately you're really kind of, I guess they'd say, living the gimmick, right? I mean, this is all real.
I'm hitting my stride, if that's what you're trying to get to.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, it just feels like there's this level of confidence that you just didn't have even a year ago.
Again, it goes back to when I broke my ankle. And I'm sitting around, I'm like, yo, like, what do I need to do to be a little bit different, right? And I was like, these are all things that I enjoy doing. Like, I enjoy going out, partying, living like a rock star, chasing the history, dressing nice, looking after the women. You know, I love all that stuff. So I was like, yo, why can't I just emerge that into my wrestling career and just see what happens? And it just, man, I mean, you see me today. I mean,
now you've got this title.
yes.
You say you won it on your birthday.
Yes.
Eric Martin technically never lost the title. He's got a very similar one to that.
Yo,
any
you're
chance
such
that
an
we're going to
Eric
resolve
Martin
this?
guy. Like, why do you bring me on here? Because you're such an Eric Martin guy. You know what? You make me upset. You know that? Put the other guy on. I don't want to talk to you.
I don't mean to upset you. I'm just saying you got another guy walking around with the very same title that you have. Are we going to get some resolution to this on Saturday finally?
Well, allegedly, right? Because, you know, anytime it involves me, it's always drama and it's always headache and it's always we're going to do one thing, but it leads to another. Allegedly. Triple threat match, me against Eric Martin and Killian McMurphy.
McMurphy.
Yeah, and it's 2 out of 3. I'm sorry, not 2 out of 3. It's 2 falls. The first fall, you advance into the tournament of the territory championship that the ECWA is creating and stuff. And then the second fall, you become the legacy champion. So hopefully,
either way, yeah.
Hopefully we have some resolution and hopefully we figure it out.
I mean, it seems like it would be headed that way. How important would it be for you as the legacy champion to kind of represent ECWA in this new territory title that they're creating?
So you're asking me if I would be okay with representing the territory championship?
I mean, I guess I'm just asking what it would mean to you personally, already holding this belt. And now, let's say you wouldn't take both falls, like, you know, you could be a dual champion, but not only that, you'd be outside of ECWA representing us in this territory as well.
I do it now. I represent ECWA now.
Okay.
Listen, I've been on multiple interviews, and there's people that have told me, listen, if it wasn't for you and for Joey Ace, we wouldn't know that ECWA is going on. Me and Joey Ace make ECWA trending. Okay, we make them trending on social media. We put the promos. You see, look, you see me right now with the title. I go to Colombia on vacation. Even though I'm on vacation, I bring the title with me. I'm doing promos over there. Even though I'm in Mexico, I'm doing something completely different. Even though over there I made history as well, I bring the title with me. So it doesn't change much of what I'll do outside of me promoting not only myself but ECWA. It just magnifies it because then now I'll be walking around with 2 titles.
Now, how would you feel if more of your competition started to put out these promos? Would it be something where you kind of felt?
They won't.
Okay.
They won't.
No, why would you say that?
Listen, I would love it. I am a very big proponent of storytelling, right? And I'm a very big proponent of if I am giving you a promo, right? Let's say you, Brady Hicks, I expect for you to reply with a promo so that when fans come to the shows or the fans see it on the IWTV app or Fight TV or wherever it is that the show may be streaming on at the time, when they see things going on, they're like, oh, that makes sense because he said this and he said that or whatever, instead of just like, huh, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I would love hey, listen, I hope everybody in ECWA makes promos. I hope everybody in every promotion that I wrestle for makes promos. But the truth of the matter is they do not.
Thank you, Redboy. No, absolutely. So, you know, to kind of look at it, I would say, you know, it keeps coming back to you and Joey Ace. And I think when you guys kind of came to the company, I would say that like the work rate of the company went way up. You know, the quality of the matches was just incredible. And I know certainly like as well, he was a part of that with you guys earlier on. How important is it for you guys to kind of go out there and be the guys in the matches that everybody's really looking forward to? Like, is that a huge part of it for you, the quality of the matches as well?
Okay, so if you watched my promo earlier, right?
Sure.
That I posted online, right? Okay. One of the key things that I said on it is I'm addicted. Like I'm addicted to the spotlight. I'm addicted to being champion. Yeah. I'm addicted to the power that the championship brings. But I'm also addicted to putting on good shows, putting on good matches, putting on good content, so that people continue to follow the product, and people continue to see us grow as a company, especially for ECWA, because the past 2 years it went from one owner to the other, and no one really knew what was going on. So now me and Joey, we're trying, we're like, hey, listen, let's stick together just like we have been. Let's continue doing what we're doing. Let's keep hammering.
Yeah.
Let's keep putting ECWA in the front line, right? So that's the goal, especially for me and him, because I feed as much off of him as he feeds off of me, and we're always bouncing ideas off each other. And like, we do a lot of stuff backstage that a lot of people have no idea and no clue. And not that we like need any sort of recognition or anything like that, but we're just talking as far as building ECWA back up as a strong force in the promotion and wrestling, especially given now the times of like the COVID and the only 20% capacity or 25% capacity of the building. We want to make sure that we put on good stuff for the people that are watching.
Well, speaking of putting on good stuff, obviously you and Joey, like I said, have been huge parts of it. Has there ever been any thought to getting in the ring with him, kind of having a friendly match there?
You always do this to me. Every single time, every single time I've been on this show probably 4 times, and every single time you throw me that.
That's what people want to see.
I know people. I know
that's what I keep hearing.
So you know what? Yeah. It's one of those things in wrestling that you can never say never, right? And it's one of those things that it has to be done the right way, right? Because I feel that Joey Ace is a pillar in ECWA, right? And I am also a pillar in my own right in ECWA, right? I'm carving my own name and helping it out as much as I possibly can. In order to get that to work together, it has to make sense.
And I think, especially since the PCA hasn't been like a unit that we've seen on TV. Certainly they're still around, but it hasn't been like this faction on ECWA programming. Right. I feel like you've really stepped into your own and kind of made everything very unique to you, and I think that's really cool. Actually, one of the fans wants to know if you can dance better than Joey Ace for What a Man Gotta Do. I just got that.
Listen, I am Mr. Do-It-All, so I'm pretty sure I can dance better than Joey Ace.
All right, got his utility belt. There you go. It is exciting. It is exciting.
Dancing Championship. There you go.
Now, do you think Joey should have brought that title on Ellen with him? Because I've heard people say that.
It's one of those conversations that I've had with him. Again, Joey Ace is a brother to me, and shout out to you, Joey Ace, and I love you, and can't wait to see you in a few days. But it's one of those things where I told him, "You're on national TV. Like, what are you doing? Like, well, the conversation didn't go certainly that way, obviously, right? But it was in the effect of like, what are you're on national TV? Like, why would you not? You have." I don't know how many millions of viewers she has. Let's just say 3 million viewers or whatever. Like, what are you doing? Like, okay, so for me, in my example, when I went out to Mexico, we went towards one of the promotions and they wanted to do something. And I made sure that this title was in the forefront, right? If you see the footage or whatever, it's floating around YouTube right now. I hit the guy with this belt right in his face, right? So I hit him with the ECW, right? And then, so in Mexico, I'm sort of like backtracking off of what you're telling me.
You're fine.
But in Mexico, when you take a luchador's mask off, that's a very big deal. That's a super big deal. And what I got to do, again, I'm making history. I made my debut in Mexico, and I unmasked one of their top baby faces over there.
Really?
Yeah, why you make that face for? I told you, listen, I do not chase trends, I chase history, okay? That's a part of history. Nobody could take that away from me. So what was one of the first things that I did? Because I know that they were transmitting that show locally on their local television out there, right? And one of my friends who lives in Cancun, I was in Mexico City, and one of my friends who lives in Cancun, him and his wife, they were watching it on TV, and they send us the footage of them watching it on TV. Yeah. So what's the first thing that I do after I take off the guy's mask, right? I grab this title and I take a picture with the title and with the mask on, like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of the bigger picture. I'm thinking like what you just said.
Brand awareness,
National TV for Mexico. that's the money shot. Like, and then so it goes back to Joey. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you could have had, if you could go backwards, right? Redo it. You would bring out the title. She holds the title. All of a sudden, the stock goes up.
Is it safe to say, like, if a young guy came to you for advice, like, is it safe to say that one of the things you would say is to make everything feel more important? Because I think that's something that's lacked a lot of time in the independents, and it's something that you're pretty good at usually.
So if a young guy comes up to me,
yeah,
make it more important, make it mean something. Because if you're just walking out there and you're just a champion, right? Let's say you're a champion for ECWA, and I'm gonna throw a little shade in here, okay? Because that's what I do. If you're a champion for ECWA and you're a champion, you're not promoting the belt, you're not promoting the company. So why are you champion? You just want to sit here and take gym pictures and stuff like that. That's cool and that's fine, but at the same time, you're looked upon as the champion. You're representing the company. Whether you're a good guy or you're a bad guy, it does not matter. Make it mean something to you, because if you believe in it wholeheartedly, this is one of the things that I've said in a previous interview that I just did. When I put on all of my posts and stuff like that, when I put superstar, I wholeheartedly believe that. I may not be in the bigger companies and stuff like that, but everything that I do, I put my all into it. Every single promo, every single interview that I'm here, I'm you know, everything that you do. And then people will start believing into it. People will start looking at you different. Even you said it yourself. Hey, listen, you've been carrying yourself different lately for the past year, and I see it. Yeah. Which means you know, make it mean something and believe in it, and people will follow suit.
You know when it hit me, and this isn't really a question so much as an observation, but when we had the return show after, you know, months of pandemic being off, and I believe it was, it might have been Super 8, I don't remember. I think it was September. You showed up in a 3-piece suit when you weren't even on the show.
Right.
And you sat, and you sat, I mean, you obviously you were backstage, but you sat in the crowd and you just took in all the matches. Again, not part of the show, should have been. Not part of the show, but you were there, and you were, you looked like Astor's pet horse out there. You were all dressed up, nowhere to go. But it was amazing. It really was. I don't say that, like, you know, derisively at all. But that's when it hit me that, like, you're all in with this. I mean, you are all in. One of the fans wanted to know the training in Mexico, Colombia, the little bit that you did there. Is that more intense than the stuff in the U.S. as far as, like, the actual
all right, so
training?
First of all, I want to say thank you for what you just said about the Super 8, because I was not part of the card. Everything did change, and I still did show up, and I was there to support, you know, Joey Ace, and not only Joey Ace, I'm supporting the brand because, again, I feel like I'm a pillar for ECWA. So even though I'm not part of the show, people are still coming up to me. Hey, how you doing? Try to talk to me, and you know, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. I'm still giving my input and you know, whatever. But anyway, as far as the question goes, in Colombia, I didn't do so much more training. I did more so like media day, and I did more so networking more than anything. But in Mexico, the training over there is completely different from what we do here in the States. For example, over there, if any wrestlers listening to this or watching this or whatever the case may be, over there, you do not touch the inside of a ring up to an hour of you doing calisthenics, which means you warming up, you stretching, you doing your push-ups, you doing all these little exercises that they have running around the ring. You do not touch the inside of the ring for up to an hour.
More like a wrestling school, like in the U.S., like the stuff that you used to hear about back in the day.
Back in the 80s, you're doing the Hindu squats, you're doing the push-ups, you're doing the crunches, you're doing the walk-arounds, you're doing your jumping jacks. And even though as minute and as silly as that may sound, because majority of the wrestlers, all they want to do is lift weights. That's cool, but at the same time, you have to stretch. You have to properly stretch. And those guys take it very serious. One of the biggest things that I took from my experience out there is their training. They're training every single day, man. They have like no days off. They work, go to go train. They're there till like 9 p.m. and then they go home and they do it all over again. No, listen, the discipline is out of this world. And then one of the things is, like, when I sat down with one of the wrestlers from over there, I said, listen, so how do you navigate in a day and age of 2021 where we're all social media, off cell phones and tablets and iPads and all this? He goes, I manage it because I only do it 2 hours a day on Saturdays and Sundays. That's it.
Wow. Okay.
And it's crazy because then you see those guys in CMLL or AAA, which those are the two big major brands out there, and they become superstars at such a young age. Because we're out here, we're wasting time.
Yeah.
But that's another story for another day.
No, but that's interesting. Do you think, like, and this is just your opinion, but, like, do you think that's why so many Mexican stars are able to come to the U.S. and, like, really kind of excel in spite of, like, language and cultural barriers? Because, like, it's so ingrained in what they do by that point that they get up here that, like, you know, it's just everything to them.
Well, it's not only that. It's obviously they don't have all of the access to the majority of the stuff that we have access to, right? The stuff that makes us lazy, right? Like over there, if you want to eat, like you got to cook. Over here, you want to eat, you go to McDonald's, you go to Wendy's, you have a bunch of different options. So it's a little bit different. And not only that, when the Mexican talent comes from over there, they're given more opportunities because, you know, they look different, they wrestle different, their gear is different. So they do have a little bit more opportunities. It's the same thing as me when I went over there. Dude, I was a rock star. Everybody wanted to take pictures. I must have took like 500 pictures between those 3 days that I was over there. I did like 3 interviews. I did them all in Spanish. It was out of this world. But it's the same thing because I go over there. I have a certain look. My gear is different. I wrestle different. My style is different. The way I carry, the way I speak. So they're going to give me a little bit more opportunity because I am different. It's the same thing. You reverse it. When they come over here, they get a little bit more opportunity because they are different.
Now, we're lucky enough, not to put them on the spot, but we have a Maestro as part of the panel every week. And I often forget because this guy has lived a life as well. Stro, you spent some time in Mexico. Was your experience kind of similar?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was AAA at the time with Jake Roberts.
Oh,
yeah.
And you know, got to be a Triple Mania back in 97, I believe, was the year.
Okay.
And being in the ring with some of the greats there, like the great Paraguayo, who's a legend, such a legend in Mexico, and seeing guys like the legendary Per Roth and Octagon and Cibernetico and there's some of the greats there, in which, you know, quite a few of them followed me to WCW later on, right? So it was really cool. And if I didn't had the experience of wrestling the Lucha Libre style Mexico, I don't think I would have been nearly as ready for that next step at WCW. So it really paved the way for me, my time there with Mexico, wrestling there.
That's cool. And that kind of leads to, like, my point, right? I feel like you probably are going to be much more well-rounded heading into this Saturday with the big match with Eric Martin and Killian McMurphy, just because of virtue of these experiences, whereas the other guys are really just wrestling in New Jersey and Delaware.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest mistakes that the majority of the wrestlers make. I mean, I guess if you look at it as in a competition aspect of it, it's better for me because I'm willing to travel and I'm willing to take chances that the majority of these guys will probably never ever take because, you know, like I told Joey, and I've had this conversation in depth with him, like, you got to get out of this. Like, there's this box, right? And this box is here. And this box contains New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, maybe Connecticut, and maybe Massachusetts. You got to get away from that because here we're all one and the same. But, you know, when you go out to California, you're different. When you go out to Indiana, you're different. When you go out to Chicago, you're different. Yeah. So it's better for me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense to me. And I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck this Saturday. Do you have any words for Eric Martin and Killian McMurphy heading into this match?
Nah, man, they already know what it is. They already know what's going on. They'll listen. They better be ready for Saturday because I'm coming for everything. again, I'm not here to chase trends. I'm not here to do the flashy moves. I'll leave that stuff to you guys. I come for the W. I come to make history. I come to to do what the Shining Star does.
All right, Papi, mi hermano. Nice talking to you, man. And I can't wait for Saturday.
Hey, you know what it is? Every single time that I've come to the show, my career has elevated more and more and more. Have you noticed that?
It's quite a coincidence. I
don't
think I have anything
that's a
to
good
do with
trend
it.
coming into Saturday.
Well, I hope so, man. Like I said, I'll be cheering for you from the commentary table. So it'll be a great time. I can't wait.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in a few
All right.
days.
Take care,
All
bro.
You're
right.
still not a Poppy. Brady, you're still not a Poppy.
Next time. I'll
You're
get
still
there.
not a Poppy.
I'm winning you
Nope.
over slowly.
No,
Little
you're still
by
not a
little.
Poppy. No. I'll see you
love you,
guys
brother.
soon. Take care. Be good. All right.
I'll see you Saturday. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was the look at that. Look at that beautiful title. The Shining Star, Rey Calitri. And the Legacy Championship right there. Some people say he didn't win it. He says he's the champion. We're going to find out this Saturday.
I don't care what people say. I'm the man. I'm the superstar, like I said. Peace.
There you go.
Yeah.
Take care. And that was Rey Calitri. What